Before the arenas, before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for our guest? Send it to us via Messenger.
Here's your host, George Davis.
And welcome back to Before Nashville, where we introduce the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today, being brought to you by Heart to Heart Coffee. I got a question for you. Does your coffee give back? Well, Heart to Heart does. They give percentages of all their sales back to so many different charities, and it's just a great company. So check them out. Heart, the number 2, heartcoffee.com. Be sure to check them. Actually, that coffee's not in there, I don't think, in the website. It's just heart2heart.com. So check that out. And tonight, it's a very special night because I've got Eric Burgett with me. Now, Eric is kind of a pioneer. Well, not really a pioneer, but he's not your typical country artist because most guys are tied to a guitar, and Eric isn't. Okay, not that he doesn't play. Now, let me clarify. It's not that he doesn't play, but his instrument of choice has 88 keys, and it's a lot harder to carry around on your back. So, Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I tell you what, it's. I was reading over your bio and stuff. A lot of great stuff there, and a lot of questions that I'm going to get to ask you tonight that I'm hoping people may not have thought of. But tell me a little bit about Eric Burgett when you were growing up. I mean, you know, where you were at, when you got into music, that kind of thing.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in a little farm town in Illinois, Latham, Illinois to be exact, little 400-person town. And that's where it all started for me, man. I was, riding on the tractor with my dad growing up, listening to music on the radio. It was always country music, but also a lot of off the wall stuff like Billy Joel and stuff, guys like that I was just, especially being a piano player. Really, that's kind of really what got me into piano was hearing guys like Billy Joel, Elton John, some of those Bob Seger songs that had the piano riffs in them and stuff, and guys like Charlie Rich and Ronnie Milsap. And I would hop off the tractor and just go take piano lessons and stuff. And, that's kind of where it all started. 5 years old. I was 5 years old, man.
5 years old, playing the piano.
Yep.
Now, when you got up into high school and stuff, did sports play a part? Because that seems to play a part in a lot of people's lives, but some people don't have time,
Yeah, I dabbled here and there, man. I was honestly a track runner. I did track, and I did a little bit of soccer, but track was kind of my main thing, and I ran a lot. And for some odd reason, they gave a 5'5" guy a spot in the long jump for one track meet, and I don't even know what was wrong. What they were thinking, but I'm like, no, keep me to the 4x4 meter relay, man. So
right.
I lasted a day on that long jump, and I didn't even go.
Ain't long enough for that. Now, growing up, I mean, it's kind of funny because you're on a corn and a soybean farm, and you're in kind of central, close to central Illinois, maybe south of that. So south central Illinois, we'll call it that. And your parents, I mean, they farmed, obviously. And then they had a bar called the Corn Crib. I love the name of that. I thought, and the way it's spelled, it's with a K. So it's it's off. It's a little branded thing there. It's pretty cool. It's an awesome spot, man. And it's still operational, and your parents still own that?
Absolutely. I wish they did, but it's absolutely still standing. But they sold it, I think, a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, if I'm counting COVID, the 2020 thing. I don't know. But they sold it, and they just got really busy with the farm, man. And we do corn and soybean farming, but we also run a greenhouse business. We sell tons of plants and you name it, herbs, vegetable plants, everything. So they stay busy with that, and on top of landscaping and stuff. And the restaurant business was very, very tiresome for them. And I definitely know why they got rid of it, but it's historical for me because that's where some of my first shows were as a piano player. Like we had a old time piano in the corner, and I'd play like during the dinner hours and put on Christmas shows and stuff like that. So
hey, yeah, I mean, you got to start somewhere.
yeah, man, it was awesome. It's memorable.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you probably still visit on occasion when you're up in that area.
I do, man. I'm always like, if my band's passing through, very rarely do we stay in a hotel. Like we drive the 25 minutes or sometimes an hour from where we're playing and just crash in my parents' basement or something. And I show my band the farm when we're up there, and they love it.
Put them to work, daddy's up. So come on, guys, we're going to nothing wrong. Make them earn that money. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Now, some of your influences, I mean, you talked about them a little bit earlier, Billy Joel, Bob Seger, Phil Vassar, Ronnie Milsap, great piano players. And with you playing piano at such a young age, and it seems like, country music, a lot of artists are guitar players. And like I said, it's a lot easier to carry on your back. But did you ever feel like, a little out of place or anything when you did that? Or was it like, it ain't no big deal?
Sometimes. I think early on, I was just so excited to play music. So, I would get a kick out of any chance, whether I was playing a fish fry for like a local church or something, or someone's farm party, just like in the shed, whatever. But as I got older, I was like, I need to haul around a big old keyboard and go bar to bar or whatever in Nashville. But you know what? I like to think it set me apart a little bit, but also we're all our own, artistry and creativity and stuff. And, I was like, well, if Billy Joel could do it, if Phil Vassar could do it, right. I sure as heck am going to do it. And, I tried playing guitar here and there, but when I played guitar, like I played a couple songwriter rounds, we get up and play our songs. I played a couple of those shows with guitar, and I just felt really out of place. I felt out of my element, but put me behind a piano and I'm there. I'm like, I don't even look at the keys. I'm just playing, and I love it. And so it's like it's definitely a part of me for sure. So,
well, and so from there, kind of, we fast forward, and you, what got you to the point of going, I want to go to Nashville?
I was in college. I think I was a freshman. No, I was a high school senior going into college, and my parents would take me on trips to Nashville, and I would, go to the Bluebird, see some shows, or I'd go to I would Google or just Google any open mic in Nashville and sign up on the way down, on the trip down. Say like, hey, I'm Eric Burgett. I want to, hop in on the writers night tonight if you have any open spots. And, we'd go there and I had, hopefully they'd have a keyboard there. Sometimes they didn't, but I always had the keyboard in the back of the van. My parents took me down to Nashville, but I think I was playing at Nashville Palace, north of town by Opryland area. And I just loved playing my one song that I got. Like I played my song. I don't even know what song it was. I think it was called Nothing Better. And it was like a song I wrote in high school. And I just felt at home there, man. And so then every so often between my senior year of high school and throughout college, I would always make trips to Nashville with my parents. And I knew in high school I wanted to move to Nashville. So then I knew after college, I'm like, I'm going to move there. And I did. And that was 2012. So when I moved here.
So what's your favorite venue to play in Nashville?
My favorite, man, it's so crazy. I'm going to say the typical, everybody says the Bluebird. I'm going to say the Bluebird because there's something so special about that place. Every time you walk in, I get this like chill running over my skin. And especially when you get on stage, I just look out at everybody they're tuned in, and we're in Nashville, and they're tuned in, and they're there for the song, there for the music, the original music that, you know, they may or may not have heard, and it gets me every time, man. It's like the first time every time I play there.
Wow. And it's, I mean, for a lot of artists who, I mean, you don't go to Nashville and play the Ryman right away. But
Right.
the Bluebird is kind of the status of the Ryman for a lot of newcomers to Nashville. You know, they think,
Yeah.
if I can get on the Bluebird stage, oh my goodness, I've made it. You know?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I mean, I think let's see, when was it? My first year in town or second year, my buddy sent me over a link to audition at the Bluebird to be on their like Sunday writers nights. And I'd already been there multiple times to do like the Monday night open mic slots, but passing the audition and being able to be on like a steady schedule throughout the year, to be featured as like one of the like 6 to 8 writers on any given Sunday, and go up and share your 3 or 4 songs. It's awesome, man. And I actually scored my own show there 2 years ago, Sunday Spotlight, and I brought my band in, and it was just a full hour of Eric Burgett music, and made tons of fans. It was cool. Awesome.
That's awesome. So you talked about the song that you wrote in high school was, you know, you played that up on stage. And do you remember the very first song you ever wrote?
Man,
I think a lot of writers just kind of want to put that in the back of their mind because they don't feel like it measured up.
Yeah, man. You know, I like to say it gave me sort of a launch pad, because it definitely wasn't great. Whatever the first song I wrote was, definitely wasn't great. But so it spring loaded me to write better songs, and especially when I moved to Nashville, I was, you know, hooking up with different writers here and there, being recommended to different writers. And yeah, dude, I'm sorry, I can't remember that first song. I think the lyrics definitely had corn and tractors and the word farm in it. And a lot of my songs still do, but they're just more colorful and more colorfully described.
Formation's a little bit better, you know. And I'm not picking on your songs because
no, I know. Thanks, man.
But now you're in Nashville, you're playing the Bluebird, and you're kind of making a name around town for yourself. And you said you moved there in, was it 2012?
2012, yes, sir.
Okay, so you've been there in what, 9 years?
Yep.
Didn't even have to take my shoes off to figure that one up. But so you've been there for 9 years. What kind of changes have you seen in Nashville within those 9 years, other than the obvious, if you look at pictures with the cranes and the high rises that are going up?
A different skyline picture for sure. Man, definitely, you know, the influx of people moving to town for sure. Creatives, there's a lot more, just a lot more creativity going on, because there's so many people and awesome people moving to town. I meet new people every day, and you know, I see the fire in a lot of people's eyes when they move. They're like, I just moved to town a month ago, and I'm like, man, I remember when I first moved to town, and you know, I think about the journey they're going to be on, because I've been on this 9-year journey, and you never know who you're going to meet. You never know.
Absolutely.
Scream at every chance you get, you know. More opportunities, I think, have presented themselves, like more songwriter nights. I have a couple buddies that run like things on Tuesday or Thursday nights that I know I've been a part of for quite some time, and it's all healthy competition, healthy things going on. I love it.
Right.
Love it.
Do you feel like whenever you're in a writer's round and you've got other writers that are there with you, do you pick out things that they do that you think, you know, I don't do that, or I don't do it that way, and I want to incorporate it to do it, or to make it a part of what I do?
Man, yeah, I'm always picking up little things here and there. I think that's the beauty of being an artist and someone who's always working on their craft. You know, I'm always trying to like learn this cool piano lick that I heard in a Joe Diffie song, you know, back in the day. I'm like, how can I put that in like my live shows?
Right.
So I'm always doing that stuff, and maybe, you know, something vocally here and there. I don't know. I pick up things. I feel like I pick up, you know, vocal habits here and there, like breathing habits, because I used to be really terrible at like putting enough air behind my voice to like control things. And I'm like, I like the way that they controlled that vowel there, you know? Yeah, I think there's always something to learn from somebody for sure.
Right. And when you say it that way, it's so cool because some people don't understand, you know, they think, oh, you just get up there and you start singing and that's the way it is. But when you have training and when you have the experience, you start to notice like the breathing and the nuances of the way they say something or they hold it, or I was watching, I think it was Tim McGraw on TikTok, and there was a acapella group doing one of his songs.
Yeah, I saw that, man. I saw that earlier today.
And he was talking about check out the trills and stuff like that, you know, and you know, the average bear doesn't quite know what that is. So, I mean, I think it's so cool the way that you can pick that stuff up. You know, I'm a former drummer. I haven't played in a long time, but I listen when I'm listening to a song, the drums are the first thing I pick up on.
Absolutely, man.
You know, do you find yourself doing that with piano? I mean, you know, you're going, okay, I think I hear, yep, there it is. There is a piano in this song. Do you find yourself doing that kind of thing?
It's funny. I do, man. It depends on the day. Like maybe, and it's funny, you'll listen to something and you might not hear this cool, like vocal sub melody thing going on the first time, but then you listen to it again and you notice it's like, that's really cool.
Right.
For me, honestly, first thing I notice is whatever hook is whatever instrumental hook, if there is a hook at the beginning that is going on, like, and if it's a piano, it really sticks out to me. So then I'm listening to the piano the whole way through that song. If it's a really cool slide guitar lick, I'm like, it really brings me into that first word of the lyrics.
Right.
And if it matches up perfectly, it's awesome when that happens and takes you on a journey, man. So.
And that's one of the cool things about, and a lot of people I've talked to have said the same thing when it comes to country music, the way it takes you on that journey, you know, and it's not, and it does that not just for, you know, the average person listening, it does that for the artist too. I mean, there's journeys that an artist will go on when they're listening to a song by somebody else and picking stuff out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, when you're writing, you know, because you're thinking, and this is the way I want this to sound, and I know your producer is phenomenal, multiple number ones. He's a Grammy Award nominated producer, and I've known his wife for quite some time, and I think I met him once in Nashville. But do you? I mean, when you're writing, are you doing kind of a you know, where's the inspiration? I mean, who inspires you with your writing? I guess I'm trying to figure out how to formulate that question. For some reason, it wasn't working right.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I get the question you're asking, man. Man, inspiration comes in many forms. I can speak, I guess most recently, gosh, I had this idea that I threw out at a write yesterday. We ended up going a total different route with the song. There were 4 of us writing, actually, which sounds like a lot of people.
Right.
But when it works, it works, man. And we're all just, there's a craft to that, and realizing what you contribute to that group of 4 people, what that person across from you contributes, and you all kind of just like trust the process. A lot of it's trusting the process. A lot of it's, you know, pulling teeth sometimes if you really want to fight for an idea or fight for that line, that word. Should that word go in there or not, you know? But anyway, I'm kind of going off the beaten path. Sorry.
That's okay.
The idea I threw out was actually, we thought on the idea for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then we kind of started shooting ideas around about that idea for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then someone said something and we were all like, that could be a cool song right there.
Right.
So we ended up going with that idea, which I'm so glad we did, because the song we came out with was awesome, and I can't wait. But a lot of my ideas, man, I'll be sitting at the piano and I put my voice recorder on my phone. I put it on record, and just play a piano thing and start humming a melody over it. Something that feels good at the time. You know, maybe I had a really, really, really good day and I'm thinking of this upbeat idea or something, and I come back to it the next day and maybe we can do something with it. You know, I don't know. My wife, she inspires me a lot, with, you know, just the way she is, our history together. You know, obviously the farm is a huge part of my upbringing and inspiration as well.
Right. Now, one of the things you said earlier when you got into that, and this is a question that I've asked a few artists, but you talked about, you know, you kind of moving away from an idea. Like you walk into a ride and you've got, okay, this is a medley a melody I've come up with, or these are lyrics I've come up with, and I want to build on them. And then you get into that ride and everybody's just kind of not feeling it. But there's a line in there that you really like. And so you go a different direction and you think, you know, I can reword that line and put it in here. Have you ever had that where you kind of felt like you had to fight for a line or an idea in a song, whether it was within that song or something, you know, or another song, it was like, I've got to have this in something.
Yeah, no, there has been, but like because you always want to do what's best for the song, like,
Right.
And it's like maybe that the way I had that sentence or that line laid out in my original idea, because we're writing a song about this over here, I think the line will be better said this way. And
Right.
you know, I'll literally raise that as a question in the writing process, like, hey y'all, what do you think about this? And like, I really think it could be cool if we said something like this. And you know, I'll say, being the artist in the room, sometimes, you know, I guess more times than not, you kind of get what you want,
Right.
because you're the one singing it.
Right.
But not to sound, you know, bold at all there, or over, you know, but I write with a lot of great people that that keep me in my lane, man. And it's good people.
That's great,
That's
man. You need that sometimes.
You do.
You do.
There's so much going on sometimes. It's like you need, you know, because I'm playing artist, songwriter, musician, making lyric videos, some of this, some of that.
Right.
A lot going on.
Now we're going to get into to your latest single that you just released, and that's called "Blessed Beyond Believing." We're going to talk about that in a minute, but I got a couple more questions I want to ask you first. And here's another one of those that I really enjoy, because it gives insight into who Eric is. Okay. And I say that, you know, specific, but I say that specifically to everybody because that's what it does. It gives me insight into the artist I'm talking to. So tonight it's going to give me insight into you. If we were setting out, say, by the fire pit, you know, kind of a cool night, and
I want to do that right now.
Exactly.
Come on down. Let's do it.
My wife's actually outside watching football while I'm in here.
Oh.
It's like that's one of the downfalls of, you know, that was one of the things she wanted, was a TV on the back porch, and she got it. So she's watching football and I'm in here working. But you know, it's like we're out there sitting around, just, you know, enjoying, catching up, talking, you know, cutting it up, buddy, and whatever you want to call it. And I say, why don't you play something, you know, why don't you take over the music? Okay. So you open up your phone. What are the top 10 songs going to be on your playlist that you're going to play that night?
Mm. Uh, Definitely John Deere Green, Joe Diffie.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about like cover songs or like
The songs that would
my
be,
own songs?
yeah, the songs that would be on the playlist of other artists, like stuff you would
Totally.
listen to for
Totally.
yourself,
Absolutely. I mean, Joe Diffie, John Deere Green. I grew up on that song. That's like my favorite 90s country tune.
Mm-hmm.
It holds a special place in my heart growing up on a farm, and we were a John Deere family. All that stuff. Luke Bryan, We Rode in Trucks, one of his earlier singles. And again, another one that has a special place in my heart, just driving around with buddies, driving around in my dad's truck or something, listening to that song comes on. Walking in Memphis.
Oh, love it. Oh my God.
Mark Cohn. But the Lone Star version was the first version I heard. I'm always playing that at live shows. I'm always just loving that journey, man.
So I'm going to come see you just because of that. That's
come on. Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite songs. That song comes on and I'm like a kid in the shower. I'm cranking it up if I'm driving and wailing away.
I love to hear that, man. I just love to see people loving that song every time I play it live, and people dance to it, sing every word, man.
Yeah.
Red Dirt Road,
mm-hmm.
Brooks and Dunn. I think that's that 4.
That's 4, yeah.
I can name off 20 if you want to. Boot Scootin' Boogie by Brooks and Dunn, because that's another Brooks and Dunn song.
C&D, it don't matter. You always got a C&D on there.
Lee Brice, I Drive Your Truck.
Mm-hmm.
Really meaningful tune. Love that song.
Yeah.
And Rascal Flatts, What Hurts the Most. Classic song.
Yeah.
Just all around great vocal group, great lyrics. Let's see. Drink a Beer by Luke Bryan, written by Chris Stapleton.
Oh gosh, man.
So good.
Song to listen to right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for those type of songs, man. And it's just, and I'm picturing just sitting by a fire, drinking my Busch Light.
Right.
Listening to that song, man. Giving cheers to people I've known, Let's see. Florida Georgia Line, the song Dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Dirt, really great song, well written. It's just an awesome hang to when you're listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Ronnie Milsap, Smoky Mountain Rain, takes me back, man.
Yep.
I think that's 10, maybe.
Yep. I believe it was. It was close. We'll count it as 10. We might be
all right.
Yeah, but we'll count it as 10. Because right now what I want to do, you released a song earlier in the year, and that song is called Blessed Beyond Believing. And it is I'm one of these people that when I hear a song, I'm trying to think what was going through your mind when you wrote that. What are you thinking? Not necessarily what the inspiration was, but what did you want to get out of it? Where did you want it to go? Who did you want it to touch? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, so as I'm sitting here thinking this, and of course it's sounds like a great song from the title, and I listened to it earlier, and just to kind of refresh my memory, because I have listened to it a few times, and it sounds like it's kind of a wedding. You're talking about a wedding. It could be a wedding. It could be your life. It could be all kinds of things to all kinds of people.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it right there, man. I wanted it to, whatever the song said, I wanted it to mean something to anybody, wherever they're at in their life, whether it's going through adverse times, someone who is going through marriage, someone who might have lost somebody along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're so as I was writing it with my two people I wrote it with, I wrote it with Marty Dotson and my producer, Matt McClure.
Uh-huh.
And I brought in the idea and brought in a little ditty on the piano of the chorus, and we went with it. That was the first idea that was thrown out in the write. I said, I have this idea. It would be really cool to write it. I sang a little bit of what I had in my head and presented it to them, and they're like, all right, let's write it. But as we were going through the writing process, I personally, I have all I could ever want in life right now, and that is a good woman by my side, because she's with me even when there's crap times going on.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, I know that sometimes we have little to no rain, but I still have all I need. There's stuff that needs to get done that I haven't done yet, but I still have all I need. And, I'm blessed beyond it all, blessed beyond belief, blessed beyond believing. And I think a lot of it for me has to do with like how I was brought up on the farm. I was, my family supports the heck out of me. I have a lot of friends, family, friends and hometown people that support the living heck out of me, man. And it just means a lot. And I hope that someone else can feel that too. And as I was, promoting the song on, my various socials like TikTok, Facebook, I started getting messages from people who listened to the song, people that have gone through so much stuff.
Right.
And the fact that this song could be that bit of hope at the end of the tunnel was just like, I just sat down in silence and just like, it was cool. I'm still getting messages, man. People TikToking it and everything.
Well, and it's one of those songs that will, I mean, for you as a writer, when you start getting those messages and you think about the song, it's kind of a wake up, you're going, man, people go through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
But it gives them 3 minutes of pushing all that out of their head.
Yeah.
Where they don't have to worry about it. So we're going to do that. We're going to give them 3 minutes to push all that junk out of their head. We're going to play the song Blessed Beyond Believing. It's Eric Burgett. And just listen to the song. Just whatever you're doing right now, if you're washing dishes and you're just listening to us, or you're sitting there in your office or whatever, just stop. Okay, for the next 3 minutes, just put it down, listen to the song. This is Eric Burgett with Blessed Beyond Believing on b4Nashville.
Lord, I gotta say, there's a lot on my mind today. Like that fence that needs a fresh coat, and fields that need a shot of rain. Here I am, front pew Sunday morning, trying to make sense of a sermon while I'm singing every chorus. There's a lot in here I still don't understand. I know that stained glass Jesus looks out for this simple man. Yeah, I have all I need. This woman has faith in me, even when the grass ain't green. Corn grows and the sun shines. I still got dreams worth dreaming. So many reasons to keep breathing. That's the beauty of being blessed beyond believing. I confess that I have doubts and things I can't quite figure out. Lord, if I make it into heaven, I'll have a lot to ask about. Like, why you've given me so much more than I deserve. When there's others on the street living in a world of hurt, there's some light out there I still don't understand. I know that stained glass Jesus, he must have me in his hands, 'cause I have all I need. This woman has faith in me, even when the grass ain't green. Corn grows and sun shines, I still got dreams worth dreaming, so many reasons to keep breathing. That's the beauty of being blessed beyond believing. I have all I need. Here I am down on my knees, thanking you for everything. Corn grows and the sun shines, I still got dreams worth dreaming, so many reasons to keep breathing. That's the beauty of being blessed. The beauty of being blessed. The beauty of being blessed. Beyond believing. Blessed beyond believing.
That's Eric Burgett and Blessed Beyond Believing. And man, I got to tell you, one of the things that really tickles my heart on that song is the steel guitar and just the crooning of it. You know,
It
just
does, yeah, man.
the way
It weeps,
just,
it soars,
doing their thing. And
yeah.
I think we lost your audio there for something happened.
Can you hear me now?
Nope, still don't have you. What went wrong here? That happens once in a while.
That's okay. Let's see. Check. Yeah. All right.
There we are. So I was talking about the steel guitar, and just that's one of the things that I've always loved. I've always loved the sound of steel guitar in music.
It's honestly, I talk to my producer Matt about that all the time, and I'm like, I love the way it weeps and soars. And
yes.
I feel like piano and steel guitar just go hand in hand. I don't know what it's pretty cool to me. And it seems like two very different instruments, but if you have enough piano underneath it, you're going to accompany that steel guitar, and it's just going to soar away, man. So
absolutely. Now, talking about the song earlier, and like I said, it's one of those that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And you hit on a lot of things in the song, as far as, whether it be a farmer or a marriage or, anything. There's so many things that you have, that you can put into a song like that, as far as somebody listening, how they can make that fit into their life and how it can speak to them. And sometimes, I got to be honest, I've had a rough week. And we've had some things happen that have not been pleasant for the family. And when I was listening to that song today, I controlled myself now, but I didn't control myself earlier, because it's hard, we've, the last, and I'm putting myself out, and I probably shouldn't do this, but the last year we have lost 5 family members.
Oh, buddy.
And we just lost my wife's grandmother yesterday.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Well, yeah. I appreciate that. It was a little unexpected. We knew she was ill, wound up being COVID.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be honest with you, man, I've been very not nice. I have cussed COVID a lot today.
I know how you feel, man. I've been there too, buddy. And I, you know, some folks had asked me because I posted a TikTok video 2 days ago, maybe a day or two. I think it was 2 days ago. And some lady asked me about my story because I was always throwing TikTok posts out like with my song underneath it saying, I want to know your stories. I want to know, how does this song relate to you? And one woman shared her story of fighting cancer. She's a cancer survivor of like 10 or so years. And she asked my story. So I reposted it, and I shared a story about when I was in college, I got hit by a drunk driver. A couple of my friends and I were in a car and stopped at an intersection, and driver swerved out of nowhere, hit us, and we're all okay, thankfully. But some people aren't always okay. They don't always make it out alive. So, it's, I'm entirely blessed to be here, to like be able to share this song with people.
Right.
And I feel like that's a calling for me. And all you can do in your situation, George, cherish the memories that you've had with those people you've lost, and live every day in their memory and their honor, dude.
Yeah. I mean, my wife's grandmother was 94 years old. So when you
Wow.
talk about, being blessed beyond believing, I mean, she lived
Wow.
a fantastic life.
Man.
The sad part, and just a quick timeline, and like I said, I don't mean to get into me because this is more about you. But
No.
a week ago we buried her husband,
Wow.
and then in let's see, end of April, my mother passed. Before that, my sister passed. Before that, I had an uncle that passed away, and that's all been since June of last year. And when I think about that song, it's like I think about each one of them individually. I didn't know my wife's grandfather very well, and nor her grandmother, because we weren't around them a whole lot, and we were around them as much as possible. But I mean, I know when my wife told me, I mean, she's weeping, and her and her grandmother had a wonderful relationship. And then my bonus daughter, my youngest daughter, as I call her,
Yeah.
she had a great relationship with her great grandmother, and it's just so hard. But you think about each one of those people and what they did. My mom, she battled disability from 12 years old and lived to be 82. Yeah, 82.
Wow.
And so, spent her whole life having to battle a disability, but she did
Man.
it. And so she was blessed because she didn't live a fancy life. I mean, but she wouldn't. If she had $10 in her pocket or $10 million in her pocket, she would not live a fancy life, because that was mom, you know. My sister had, some great kids, great grandkids. Her grandbabies were the light of her life. My uncle he and his wife have one son, and he's actually in Nashville and works for Gary Allen.
Mm.
And I just think about all that, and I think, I can be down on the world, or I can look at my life and see what I have and see where I'm blessed. And I think that's what everybody does. And the reason I share that is because, you know, a lot of people look to different folks, and I've got Skip Clark on here. Skip is another podcaster, and you may know Skip.
I know Skip. Tell
And
him I say what's up.
and
Hey, Skip.
he you know,
Man.
one of the things that you have to look at, and because like I was saying, people look at us and they think, oh, you've got everything. You're in radio, you're in music. They think that that's just you know uh, the end all for a lot of folks. But we have lives too. We
We
have
do.
hurts, we have good days, we have bad days. We get grumpy in the morning, and before our coffee, or we get grumpy on the way home at night because we've had a hard day at work. And yes, radio people do have a hard day, don't they, Skip? Or it's whatever, but at the end of the day, it amounts to, and I think I think I heard the line in the song, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you made a reference to your wife having a good woman.
Yeah.
And so you have, I've, I get home, got a great wife. I've got animals that help, they're not service animals, but they sure take some of the heaviness off of
Oh, they sure the heck do, man. My dog is everything to me.
We've got 2 dogs and 2 cats, and our dogs are just, they're kind of like it. They're our babies, even though we have kids, but all the kids are grown. My grandkids, I'll text my kids and tell them to tell the grandbabies, that we said hi and we love them, things like that. And it's just one of those songs that I can see where anybody, I don't care who you are, if you're the president of the United States, if you're the mayor of Latham, Illinois, that's got 400 people in it, there's something in that song you can relate to.
Thanks for saying that, man. And dude, thanks for sharing your story, dude. I needed to hear that.
Well, you're welcome. And that's kind of like, you had people talking about, sharing their story. And like I said, I try not to make anything of this about me because I like to focus on you. But because I've listened to the song and just hearing it again, and it just, it hit me. And I know that it hit a ton of people when they heard that song, or every time they hear that song. It's, unfortunately, until the next couple of weeks go through and some of the pain kind of steps away, it's not one I'm going to play a lot, because I try to be too manly to cry, but I don't.
Man, it never gets easier, dude. I know. I've been there. I lost my grandma during COVID
man.
last November, and
I'm sorry.
She was like 89, 90 something. She retired without ever really retiring from the library. She was a teacher, and she touched many lives. And she was a big inspiration behind that song as I was writing it too. And I just thought of my grandpa having a good woman next to him, and it doesn't need to be, you might not be married, but you have somebody who has faith in you to pull through. And
absolutely,
can always,
absolutely. And kind of moving. It's a great song. If you need a song that kind of makes you think, then that's definitely a song that you want to listen to. And it's one that'll pick you back up because you think about being blessed beyond believing, and that's kind of the way you look at it. It comes across as being, kind of a soft, ballad, somber ballad, and it is, but it's also has a wonderful message in it. And so I encourage everybody watching to, by all means, please listen to it again if you didn't hear it all. Now, one of the cool things, I want to move back to talking about you for a bit, because one of the cool things that I read here, and I don't know if you're the one that I heard about doing this or what, but in 2018 you got married, and it wasn't about it was kind of about where you got married.
Yeah. Yeah. Country Music Hall of Fame, man.
Exactly.
We did it.
It's so cool.
Thank you. We had the pleasure, the honor of having our wedding there. My wife's grandpa he's in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was part of a country duo called Homer and Jethro back in the day. They did a lot of country parodies. They sang a lot of Minnie Pearl. They toured the country sharing their songs. They did Battle of Cucamonga, How Much Is That Hound Doggy in the Window, a lot of those old tunes, and Riders in the Sky played with him a lot. But anyway, his plaque is where we got married, right in front of his plaque in the
wow.
rotunda where all the plaques are. We got a hefty discount. So who wouldn't take that opportunity?
Right, exactly.
But on top of that, man, it's like, you know, I can't wait till that day. Maybe I can be in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know, 360. But you know, just being in that place and where country music is everywhere. I love country music history. I love all that stuff, and we were able to have like our 360 person wedding there. People came to Nashville. Almost 90% of the people took a trip that week to come to the Berg-it wedding.
Wow. That's awesome. And the good thing is it was, you know, far enough before COVID, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't have to change anything or nothing like that. Now, here's another thing, because we talked about animals and you talked about your dog. Your dog's name is Nora. Tell me about Nora. What kind of dog is she?
She is a little bit of everything.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what makes her so cool to us. She is part pointer, German short-haired pointer, part chow. And it took us forever to realize, how did she get her curly tail?
Uh-huh.
The chow tail.
Chow tail.
And she's a really sweet girl. She has a little bit of blue heeler and German shepherd and a little bit of lab.
Wow.
So she's a little bit of everything. She points and everything. She's like chases squirrels all day, and she's just everywhere, man. It's crazy. We love her.
That's our oldest dog. Her name is Evie, and we have no idea what she is. We got her. We rescued her from the Humane Society. She was a puppy about that big, and I'm sitting at work one day about to go on the air, and I get a text message from my wife, and it's our daughter holding this little cute puppy. I mean, she's adorable. And beneath it, it said, "Yes, this just happened." So they went to drop off blankets for the dogs because it was starting to get cold. So they were dropping off blankets so they would have, you know, something nice and warm in their kennels and stuff. And they come home with a puppy. Well, they didn't bring her home that day. They had to wait a little bit. But that was 5 years ago.
Awesome.
And now she's just, you're talking about chasing squirrels. It was funny because we were sitting out back earlier and she's going nuts looking at the back of the house at the roof. And I'm like, what is wrong? And then it dawns on me, there's a tree that hangs over.
Oh, yeah.
There's a nest, a squirrel's nest way up in the tree. It's like, yeah, she sees the squirrel. It's either on the roof or it's in the tree.
Love it.
She will go out in the mornings. It's so funny. She'll go out in the mornings to the back corner of the yard. We have a privacy fence around our yard. And she will go out to the back corner and there's like a willow tree right across on the other side. And the squirrels will go in there and she'll sit there and wait on them.
Oh, yeah. She's waiting.
Just like the sheepdog on the cliff in Roadrunner. She just waits.
Totally, man.
And the squirrels have figured it out, and they taunt the daylights out of her.
Yeah. When they find out, man.
It makes me want to have squirrel soup for dinner, you know.
I know.
It's like y'all are driving my dog crazy, so I'm gonna put it into this.
I know, man. They're little tricksters, man. Yeah, our dog, she's a rescue dog too, and she's 6. She's 6 years old, man. Too. Wow. And it's awesome. Awesome to know we gave her a good home.
Yep. And that's a good thing, you know. And animals, I mean, quite honestly, like I said, we have 2 dogs and 2 cats. We have our daughter's corgi with us. And and she's lived with us for the last year and a half now. Since she's been with us, she has just learned so much and so intelligent, you know. And the funniest thing is we have a bed that sits up kind of high, and you think a corgi and those little short legs, and she jumps up on the bed, you know.
Love it.
And clears it every time, you know. Well, I'd say every time. She has caught her chest a time or two and fallen back to the floor.
Oh, ours has too, man. She's a 40-pound dog, man.
That's exactly what they took. Charlie is the corgi's name. Took her to the vet today, 35 pounds, and I'm like, good grief. She does not look like she would weigh 35 pounds. She's just kind of small. I mean, she's not very long.
Yeah.
Corgi standard, she's not very
It's packing a little something extra.
Yeah, she's a big girl. But now, so here's one of the things that I was able to do, and I kind of did this unknowingly at first. I got an email from your manager, I think Alex. Okay. I want to make sure I'm saying he's in the right.
Yeah. He's my day-to-day manager, and he does things I don't want to do. I hate dealing with money. I don't want to deal with money. I just want to sing.
Exactly. I just want to get paid.
Contracts.
For deal with it.
Yeah. I just want to know I can like wake up tomorrow in my house that I bought a year ago.
Yeah, right. and that all the bills are going to be paid.
Yeah.
So I get an email from him, and he's talking about a new song, and we get to talking, and the cool thing is that he gave me permission to world premiere this song, and I'm super excited because I don't get to do this very often. And
that's awesome. Awesome.
The name of the song is called "The Way Back," right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this song actually drops tomorrow. And I'm super excited about it because I have got to do one or two. I haven't done one in a long time, but I love doing world premieres because it's like nobody else has got them yet. And it's just kind of a cool thing. So we're going to world premiere The Way Back, and then we're going to come back and talk to Alex. Golly, I'm sorry. Talk to Eric.
That's all right. I feel like I'm living vicariously through him now.
Right. We'll come back and we'll talk about the backstory with Eric. But this is a b4Nashville world premiere, so I'm super excited. It's Eric Burgett and The Way Home or The Way Back.
Introducing the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today. Here's a b4Nashville world premiere.
Always believed we were gonna be the other ones, not the cheating ones, or the fighting ones, or the lying drums. Still got that picture from the night we met, memory soaked in whiskey that we can't forget. Kissing you, holding you, leaning up against my truck. We were lovers, now we're barely friends. There was nothing better than just staying in back then, counting down the minutes till the weekend. We were kids in love. We could never get enough, but it got lost somehow in the lies and doubts. So if I reach out, would you take my hand again? Can we find a way back to the way back when? We got too much history just to call it quits, but we're both too stubborn for us to admit that we're meant to be. How'd it come to this? We were lovers, now we're barely friends. There was nothing better than just staying in back then, counting down the minutes till the weekend. We were kids in love. We could never get enough, but it got lost somehow in the lies and doubts. So if I reach out, would you take my hand again? Can we find a way back to the way back when we swore that things would never end? Well, I'll cross my heart and make that promise again. Let's find a way back to the way back when. We were lovers, now we're barely friends. There was nothing better than just staying in back then, counting down the minutes till the weekend. We were kids in love. We could never get enough, but it got lost somehow in the lies and doubts. So if I reach out, would you take my hand again? Can we find a way back to the way back when? back when.
It's Before Nashville. We're introducing country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today, and that is Eric Burgett, and it is called The Way Back. Now, I got to tell you, that song, if you close your eyes, I'm thinking it's got kind of a 90s country meets mid to late 2000s.
Yes.
Well, not, yeah, mid to late. I won't say mid to late 2000s. We're not in the late 2000s yet, but yeah,
COVID's got everything.
Yeah,
going
COVID's got everything.
on.
In my mind, but it's kind of got that, like more the early 2000s, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It just kind of had that 90s, but then you could hear kind of that little, I don't know what you would call it, like in some genres, they call it like chunking, but it's kind of like a little tick on the guitar where it's just enough to ring the string and get and I love that. It sounds good all the way through the song. And then you got the slide guitar that comes in, and man, your voice on that song. It's so cool.
Thanks, man.
It almost had a Shenandoah feel. It really is.
Love it. Thank you, dude. That means a lot.
So what's the story with that song? Where did it come from?
Well, to be honest, man, one of my buddies had brought it into the writing session, and it was honestly like, I don't know, a 90% done tune, already almost entirely done. He brought it into the studio. It was me, Matt, him, and another writer, and he had started it with one of the other writers in the room and another guy who's actually in LA. They started it like during COVID. I think they did it virtually or started it virtually. And then he said, well, if I find like the right artist for this song to finish this song with, can I bring it to him or her? Can I bring it to the table and we finish it? If it's the right situation. And his co-writer out in LA said, yeah, absolutely. And so it was an honor to help finish that song. And we didn't even really tweak that much that he already had. I loved the story that, it was a relationship story.
Right.
We go through so much when you're dating somebody or you're married to somebody, because there's so much history there to begin with, and then you're making new memories. And let's be honest, we all go through bad times, we all go through good times. I always said sometimes, if you don't have an argument with your significant other, then what are you doing? Sometimes it doesn't, if it's something minuscule like, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? No, I want this, I want that. Or maybe it's a more in-depth conversation, but you always come out good in the end. You always figure it out because that's what you do. And I love that thought of writing, or I should say joining in on the song that puts this hopeful light on a relationship.
Right.
And looking back at the good times, the memories that y'all started out with, and find the way back to it. Find the way back.
Absolutely. And that's one of the great things. And like I said, it goes back to the relatability of a song, and especially in country music, because unlike a lot of genres, country is about telling a story. That's kind of what country music was formed around, was telling a story. From the get-go. You can go back to Bill Monroe and a lot of the great, the great greats. And that's what they did. They told stories. And then a lot of the songs, that's how they came about. They're telling stories one day, and something, no pun intended, strikes a chord, and then they take off with it. And it's a song, and people relate to it. And it's the same way now, you just kind of reach back and you get that story, and you're just enjoying, as a listener, you're enjoying the songs. And something will click, you know. It's almost like there's a subliminal message to some people where they can be listening to the song and they think, oh, it's got, you know, kind of like the old American Bandstand days. It's got a good beat and I could dance to it, you know.
Totally. Totally.
But
Yeah.
then something clicks, and then all of a sudden their ears are honing in and they hear it, and then it's like, wow, man, that's me. He's talking to me. He's talking about me, you know, and my situation. And I just think that is so cool. And that's one of those songs that, like you said, you know, if you're in a relationship and you work things out, you know, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. If it's a marriage, you know, the marriage vows for better, for worse. And, you know, that doesn't mean because she didn't have time to do the dishes or, you know, before you got home or this or that. That's not for better, for worse. It's talked about, you know, there's other issues that people come up with and you got to work those out.
Absolutely. Know? Yeah.
And
I hope the song can also be like, you know, a meaningful thing to future couples and, you know, young couples and, you know, just have that message, that underlying message that, like you said, just, you know, we're going to work things out.
Right.
Work things out.
And that's the way that, you know, say a young man hears that and he's contemplating proposing to a girlfriend and he hears a song and he goes, that's the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's the way that we will discuss as to how it will be. We'll work it out. We're going to have those days, but we're going to work it out. And we'll go back to how things, you know, were, you know, way back then where that's what people did, you know. Divorce wasn't 50%, 55% of the population, that kind of thing. And so you just do what you can and you do it the best you can and you go on with life. Now, with a new song, also generally means that there's a new EP or LP album along the way. Are you looking at releasing a new EP? Do you have one coming out soon or an album? I use EP because it seems like everybody does EPs nowadays.
Yeah, no, you're probably right about that. I mean, I know we put out an EP back in, gosh, I think it was 2017. We had like 5 or 6 songs on it. You know, my first couple songs I put out after I signed my management deal, and we have plans to put something out probably next year with a little cohesive group of songs. Some that I've already put out, 1 or 2 maybe, but some new ones that I think kind of show a little different side to Eric Burgett.
Right.
Maybe some more piano-driven stuff. Some more, you know, just a little bit of everything. Like obviously the way back, having more of a throwback feel to it. Give people, you know, we want to give people a little bit of everything. Because I think the more people you can hit in this genre, genre that has no bounds really these days, the better, in my opinion. And it's all true to me as an artist, and there's nothing that I put out that I don't believe in. So,
Absolutely.
But I think COVID kind of pushed some things back. That's what I really wanted to say.
And I'm sure it has for a lot of people. And, you know, it's just been a tough year and a half for artists, a tough year and a half for everybody. But artists, you know, not getting out on the road, not getting to, you know, play in and around Nashville and then go out on the road, you know, because I'm sure you don't just play in Nashville.
Right.
You know, so it takes a toll, and it kind of it put a damper on a lot of things. And hopefully we're gradually getting back to being a whole nation again. There's a lot of issues that are still cropping up. I saw some stuff about COVID today that, you know, this is down, that is up, and it's like, you know, okay.
Yeah,
I can say about it. I don't get
no, yeah. I've as you're probably doing too, man. A lot of y'all out there taking each day at a time.
Yeah.
And not, you know, not dwell on the future so much, but do what's best for you. And yeah, I'm getting out there gradually. I think I have about 20 some shows left for the year, which I'm really excited about, and hopefully they still happen. Some of them are private shows. Some of them are on the West Coast, California, Vegas.
Right. So for those that are watching and or will be listening when we get this put up on the audio side, where do they find out where you're going to be? I mean, where can they go to find out your schedule?
Yeah, that website you got, right there.
Yep. That's the one.
EricBurgett.com. I post my tour schedule updates, regularly. Facebook. I'm always throwing stuff on Facebook and Instagram, but EricBurgett.com is probably the best place to have everything. New songs, new dates, bio.
Now, on the tour part, do you put the local shows that you're doing in Nashville?
I do most of the time. I do if I know exactly what time I'm playing, that sort of thing. Because some of them are like writers' rounds where it might start at 8, but I don't play till 11.
You don't play till they call you up, kind of thing.
Yeah, that too, man. It's like So, but I've been better about that. And honestly, before I rarely posted my local shows, and I shouldn't have neglected that.
Right.
I think a lot of us artists and songwriters are getting better about that, because I do have a lot of visitors that visit Nashville who do reach out and ask where I'm playing. Like, are you in Nashville this week, playing anywhere? A lot of folks have those people come to town. So yes, I'm gonna make a pact to always post local shows too, for sure.
That's awesome. I mean, and that's one of the things, like, coming up here in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be back here working. My wife and daughter are going to be in Nashville for about 4 days.
Okay.
And my wife will go through and she'll find, let's go listen to this person at this place. That's kind of what they're doing. It's the daughter's birthday. So, we're sending her or she's taking her to Nashville. We're not sending her to Nashville.
Letting go yet.
No, she turns 22 and she wanted to go at 21, but because of COVID, she didn't get to. So this is 21 a year later.
There we go, man. Yeah, it's a wash, man. Last year was a wash.
So
I forgot how old I was, honestly, and that's because COVID. It threw me a year off.
Yeah,
dang it, I'm a year older.
You don't know where you're at. But it's like, we're gonna give her a chance to go down and experience Nashville and go to some places. So I tell Lisa, say, well, who did you interview tonight? And I'll say, well, it was Eric Burgett. And she goes, okay, so where's she playing? I don't know, check out his website, his Facebook. It's all there. So
yeah, man, maybe I'm playing somewhere, and if y'all come out, I'll sing happy birthday to her, Nashville style.
There you go. And
do my little honky tonk thing.
There was one more thing I wanted to mention before we got off the air, because I think this is so cool. First off, I will tell you, I probably won't try this because I'm old, but you have the Hunkaberry Love Nashville hot chicken rub.
I do, man.
Where'd that come from?
I wish I had one in here I could show you. Yeah, it's Berg-it Love. So reverting back to my wedding, my wife and I, as wedding favors, we actually gave out Nashville hot chicken spice to our guests, our wedding guests. Put it on the tables and everything. That batch we made in our little rental house near Brentwood, Tennessee, and we mixed all the ingredients together. I love cooking, man. I love cooking. And so I came up with my own Nashville hot chicken spice. We mixed it together in a big old pot. My eyes were burning. Her eyes were burning. It's just memories, man. I don't want to go that way back. I don't want to go back there. But so people loved it, dude. Like, we packaged it in little envelopes for our wedding guests, and everyone was like, there were tons of people calling us after our wedding saying, hey, where can I get some of that Hunkaberry Love spice? I'm like, well, it was kind of only made for our wedding, so we didn't make another batch. But this is what I did. I decided, well, I'm a country artist. I sell merch already, T-shirts and hats. Why not add my Nashville hot chicken spice to my collection? So I recently sold out of it, about 80% of it, at my last couple shows.
Wow.
People love it, dude. And I need to. But what I'll say though, real quick, I went through a company up in Michigan that produced it for me, and I designed my label and they packaged it and stuff. So it's all like FDA approved and all that stuff. Got to do it the right way, stuff. But anyway. So yeah, I have little jars of it that I sell, man. So that's awesome. And I love hot chicken. So when y'all come to Nashville, you got to check out some Nashville hot chicken places.
Yeah,
if you're a spicy guy.
I used to be a spicy guy, and I used to love it and could handle it, and I still do. But the problem is when I start eating it, it's like right under here, it's just the sweat rolls.
I know, man.
It looks like I'm crying.
And if you're like me, you get acid reflux really bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Gotta take
take medicine daily.
But yeah.
But I love it. I mean, I really do.
Thanks,
we grow jalapenos in our backyard, and I know that, they're not hot, but I've gotten a hold of a couple of those that were a little torchy.
Oh, yeah. They'll get you, man.
And and my wife always knows I try to hide it from her because she used to make fun of me. She doesn't do it anymore because she's figured out, well, that's just going to be a part of him I'm going to have to love and deal with for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I will. I mean, every once in a while I'll do something, I'll try something that's spicy. And I'm not saying I wouldn't try it. I'll try it. And who knows, it could be one of those things that I love it, but it's not going to love me so much. So I'd have to use it sparingly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude. Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, what really makes Nashville hot chicken spicy is the oil they drizzle on it and some of the batter on the chicken, but they have like little to no heat or medium heat or mother clucker, I think is the
right.
is the top one. But you can at least try some breaded chicken, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
who doesn't love breaded chicken?
We love to go. The last time we were in Nashville, as many times we've been to Nashville, I hate to admit this, we have never been to Hattie B's.
That's my spot, man. I love it.
We're going to be, I know for sure that Lisa and I will be down there in February, so we're going to have to go then, but we're there for CRS, and so I don't know what kind of time we'll have. We'll make time. Yeah,
it's a packed week, ain't it?
Yeah, it's so full. But we do go down every once in a while. We go see my cousin and his wife, and so I think I'd like to make a trip down there between now and February where she and I get to go, and I'm not back here working while they're down there enjoying themselves.
Yeah, man, get some time away.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I'll have to check it out. If is that on your website? I mean, when you have it, is it on the website or you just sell it at shows?
Honestly, I just sell it at shows, man. But I think next month, let's see, it's already September. Yes, it is September. October, we're updating the merch store online, so everything will actually be up there in October. So.
Okay.
But you can always email me, reach out. I'll send you some.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I'll send you an email because I'd like to try it. Because
man.
My wife, we bought one of the Blackstones, and she loves to cook. Chicken and steak and stuff on that. So we have to put on there and try it and see how it is on that.
Yeah, man, give it a try.
I'll tell you, on a scale of dewy to soaked, how bad I sweat. How's that?
Hey, I'm right there with you, brother. I pretty much grew up in a greenhouse, and I'm good at sweating already.
So anything they want to find out, they can go to the website, which is ericburgett.com, and it's right there. Bergett is spelled Burgett. If you're listening and not watching, I don't want to leave you folks out. .com, and you can find out pretty much everything, connection to social media, that kind of thing. It's all right there as well. You've got all the clicks and the buttons and all that good thing, where they can get to find out everything about you. Be sure to follow Eric on all his socials. That's always a fun thing. A lot of these artists that I interview, I try to encourage people to follow your socials, because that way they get to know you. And then I especially tell them, go stream the music, listen to them. You know, the music's out there to be, that you can find on a streaming platform. That by all means, snag it, enjoy it. You know, kick your feet up, have a cold bush light. You know.
Yes, I'll have one with you.
So Eric, it's been great talking to you. I've had a blast. It's been really good to get to know you and find out about the music and just hanging. I mean, that's
man.
that's what it's been. It's just been a kind of a bro hang tonight, you know?
Yeah, it was easy. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, man. It means a lot.
Anytime you want to come on, you drop an EP or you got something else coming up, you just tell Renee to email me or call me. I'm sure she still has all my info, and we'll get it taken care of. How's that?
Absolutely, brother. Sounds good, man.
All right, so that's Eric Burgett, and again, you can catch him, find him at ericburgett.com, Burgett. Make sure you go check it out. Coming up on Monday night, we check the old school calendar here.
Any calendar is a good calendar, though, right?
Yeah. Hey, as long as I use it. Coming up Monday night, we've got kind of a local gal. She's from Springfield, Missouri. Her name is Chelsea James. Super excited about interviewing her as well, because she is going to be she's going to be doing some things. She's got some great music out there right now. And she does spend some time in Nashville, and we'll be talking to her on Monday night. And then check out Eric and see where he's playing at, and go catch him live or catch him on the streams or on the socials as well. And we'll see you next time. Y'all have a great night.